Okay, they're still at it. I started earlier and had to read that. Followed and harassed again. Low life. I mean, it's ridiculous. I was found innocent of everything in 18 and 19. Everything. All the police know I'm innocent. It's the domestic terrorism group spawned in with a cult that tried to kill me, my daughter-in-law, and my son, and my granddaughter. And may have tried to kill other men up there. And they don't get quarters to watch somebody. That's the most ridiculous thing on earth. You wouldn't have the rural police in uniform laugh at the situation. The law of surveillance. Again, police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life. Failure to notify of the threat of life and speaking to the other person in the home is abuse and misconduct. Failure to protect is abuse and misconduct. Um, and who do you report them to? Department of Justice, FBI, ICE, and local police department to arrest them. It's considered Fourth Amendment right to privacy, illegal search and seizure. You can always tell somebody you don't want their help. So that's where Officer Reinhardt in Louisville started laughing when I told him about them supposedly having illegal surveillance. He started giggling. It's illegal to be in somebody's home no matter what, except for the protective life cases. He said until Will took your statement and he agreed to protect you, nobody could be in your home. It's illegal to be in somebody's home. It's illegal to look and listen. Okay? And I told him about the shower scene in the other room. He started giggling. Don't worry about it. I said, well, I have bruises I couldn't explain. And they said they have dark confessions and I've never talked to anybody. Don't. He said, don't worry about it. I don't care about one thing till we'll agree to protect you. Well, a heavyset cop showed up within a few days, made a public statement at a food counter in Walmart. I asked Dave about those people threatening her, and he better not put his hands on her until I find out what's going on. He didn't know that idiot went to Paymer. He wouldn't have went to Dave. But that made Will's case legal. September 27th, 18. Police in uniform call out Karen around the house. One said, what's that? One of us have to watch or listen to her every day. Protective light custody for informant. September 27th, 18. It was legal by, I think, October 1st of 18. So that's where all this is ridiculous. And that's where the cops laugh at this. It's not admissible. November 24th, 21, 8:40 a.m., Altman Stat Carol Whipple. There's a Massillon police officer in uniform. I'm in here to watch her. There's a Steve and Eric stalking her, and we don't know who they are yet. Okay? And it's finally got funny after everything they did to her. Nothing's admissible. Tape and audio in the Stat Care. Okay, then it goes back to December 9th, 21 at the Oakland apartment maintenance man. Somebody calls him at 4 o'clock. All the tapes before were them, not her. Wow, what's going on? It's a group of men doing as many crimes as they can to see if someone will actually stop them. I was at the Stark County Hunger Task Force. A white man, bald with dark eyes, distributing food in the back, was one of my security guards during the case. Came out and said, it makes my stomach turn seeing her in a place like this. We always knew the tapes before were them, not her. So we never said a word. Okay? Loud, aren't they? He talked to two investigators by January 3rd. They were in there. The security's running around with walkie-talkies, the informants here. No one's to say a word to her. And they're like, we talked to that guy. And he knew they did all this to her before and never said a word. And it's some guy named Eric, and we don't know who he is yet. Well, before Christmas, before my client moved out of the Oakland apartment, Ed was talking to the African-American man that works with him. He's like, it's not funny what's going on. She's scared to death of those people. He said, I know. I told him all the tapes before were them, not her, and it's just a bunch of men doing crimes here. He said the guy at the Stark County Hunger Task Force knew the same thing. Okay? Well, these people sold the login by Christmas of 18 on real police investigation. Police selling any kind of information of a case, they can get like 13 years in prison. Yeah. You can't give names, details, anything. And they sold a login to a protective live case for regular people to watch. They're that idiots. These people would have life in jail if somebody would get off their ass. Yeah. If you want people pretending they're FBI, go to Altman Hospital, March 13, 21. They still have the tapes in the emergency room. Trying to frame that FBI for the chip. And those idiots in Altman Hospital, let them in the back with fake badges. I worked at a bank. The rule was somebody shows up with a badge, you get the manager and a police officer to verify who they are. They let them back with fake badges. I went to the Canton FBI office. Why would you think you have a chip? Well, maybe March 13, 21. We're here for Karen's will. The agency chipped her. The nurse points right at me. Is that why she's here? Old woman got my face. The agency wanted the truth out of you. That's why they chipped you. I'd be something if that was Judge Pete's wife. They tape an audio in there. They tell Dr. Valentina some damn master neurochipper. We already know. Tape an audio for medical malpractice. They flashed some fake badges and those. They could go to jail for letting them in the back. Yeah, May 12th, 22, about noon, I go to Mentor's Clothing. There's a Bubba's restaurant with a patio. They should have surveillance cameras out there. They're out there yelling, plus they sold a log into my car. We told those boys, we heard them, we found the tape of them admitting it was a shower scene in the other room. And none of this is funny. I go in sheets by 12:30, gas station on Whipple. We told those boys we all knew they raped her. And none of this is funny. June of 19, Liberty House Share. Ravenna Police is in there. And at North Camp Jackson Police is working the front for security. And they're in there bragging. They said, you know what, honey? The worst thing you ever did wrong, honey, is you bent over improperly. We can wipe that one out. He's giggling. I thought, when did I bend over improperly? Oh, Grandma, what's on the back of your legs? Varicose veins. Here, I'll Papa get changed. That was one of my ex-daughter-in-law's lies. She's a documented liar. See, those were the people. For Melissa says stupid, she made everything up when you were fishing with tape. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. People. Her first lie is they picked out a nightgown I didn't know, and she had the kids change it from the back of my knees to my tushy. And that never happened. I had to verify. I just replaced all those nightgowns, but the tent nightgown down to my knees. I wore that underwear and a house coat, leggings, sweater, and a house coat when the kids were over. I know that. I just replaced those nightgowns all with them. That one big nightgown down to my knees and a couple laces I cut for you. I know that. Well, they already said they caught her lying. Second lie, now I have Jen tape, my daughter-in-law, and Dave. And all my tapes come from the case, so the police have it. That they didn't come upstairs on the 4th after the table. They were having pillow fights in the basement with the boys, and I'm outside with everybody else. We get too warm, we go in the house, and they left through the basement and didn't say goodbye. Okay? They didn't come upstairs. And then they made up this sick lie that they came upstairs and they're looking through a cracked bathroom door and you're being weird with yourself and I'm outside with everybody else. I'm like, ew. And then you think about how stupid that lie is. If you're in there going potty, what if a woman's on her monthly? What if you have to use a feminine product? Who's being dirty when you're looking through a cracked bathroom door? You are. What if one of the boys have been there? And then that's just stupid. And then I have witnesses that they never came upstairs. And after the 2 bites at the table, and I was outside with everybody else, we went to go inside to get dessert. And they left through the basement without saying goodbye. They were having pillow fights in the family room. There's a bathroom down there, a TV, a sectional, and the puppies. You could hear them giggling and playing outside. Third lie, they'll make up something, call you a bad word. Fourth lie, they said you vandalized their church. Fifth lie, you shot up a home and killed someone. That's Dave. Sixth lie, you broke in a home. They tied your arms and legs to a chair, knocked it over, kicked it over, and jumped out a window. I'm like, dear God, I'm in my 50s. Well, I didn't even know make up something, call a bad word till Flora dated October 23rd, 2019. And Josh is like, ew, don't say that again. It's not true. She starts going. Of course it never happened. Of course it never wasn't true. We made it up. It was a game of pretend. She was 7. She had her kids to pretend I assaulted one. No. They're documenting me games of pretend. Maslin, please. I was so mad. She was considered a fucking shit. My family should be ashamed of. Fucking shit. A shit pot. That's how they placed her. She's nothing but a shit pot, and don't ever stir a shit pot. They called her a shit pot. I can't believe she would, if she wasn't friends on Thanksgiving of 18, the kids were playing Boo in the basement. I went to go downstairs. On the 3rd step up, the house wasn't meant for Grandma. It was meant for Auntie Shell and Papa, and Grandma needs to get out. I go look, and they're all 3 in a huddle. They're talking crazy crap. Okay, go up and sit by Dixie. Laura runs up. They're saying mean things in the basement. She's like, stay out of it. I go up to my son, John. I'm like, what's going on? I don't know. I told him you're going to move out. And Melissa's just going to have to make up something. It can't be anything bad. But it's because I told him you're going to go through a divorce. I'm like, that's not okay. You shouldn't have said anything till it happened. Well, I did. It can't be anything bad. Don't worry about it. But she'll just have him make up something. My God, it was bad. She wouldn't quit lying. The guy said, she'll go up and say, she said this. And I'm like, oh my God. Do you know that stupid bitch told people in town she paid a cop off to use sodium pentothal on me and stab me in my sleep? She can go to jail for that. Auntie Shell is Judge Pete's, at least that's why they're talking now, Judge Pete's daughter. Dixie knew who Michelle was. You would find out who Michelle is. Their family's the one doing it. Drugging and framing the wife, photoshopping. Little white Santa Claus followed me around for 3 years. Paul even seen him at Oakland apartment. I seen her out today, I know. It's not funny what they did to her head. These people have told him they framed me. They were putting 2 clips together of makeup porn. They admitted it was a shower scene. May 13th or May 12th at Bubba's, screamed it across. We told those boys. We knew it was that we heard them admit it was a shower scene in the other room. And then they run around and act like they're going to extort money. All the police know Melissa's kids lied. They all know. People were harassing me. These idiots followed me to Mount Carmel, Illinois. And they're yelling stuff at me. I was like, you don't believe I'm innocent? Call the Maslin police. Karen, I say my last name. And I said, you watch my daughter-in-law, Dixie. Got quiet. Some guy yelled out, they said it was a documented mean games to pretend you never hurt anybody. The town went quiet. It's that bad. And they weren't like they can get money for photoshopping on porn. A shower scene. March 24th, 22, 1:30. Apartment building for me. You framed her before? Yeah, I framed her before. Shame on you. I know I wish I wouldn't have done it. I feel bad about everything. Those people even raped her. I was raped and tortured by a cop, a stalker, and old fat white man. They sold it on the internet. And these people make fun of me for it. I tried to help a lady that said her husband got killed up there during a shooting night and the cops are breaking in Walmart. They stayed out of it. You know, I told an officer in uniform about it. He said it was nice of you to try to get her help, but it was never your place. No, it was the police up there. Where they're bragging they stayed out of everything for Dave's girlfriend. And I'm trying to get this lady help, and I get raped and tortured and warned to stay quiet. And these lowlifes in this area, they run around act like that family can get money. You can't get money for our documented lies and mean games to pretend that the kids are laughing about. Because they want Auntie Shell to get the house. Yeah. What do you do? They told Addis, and the Hunger Task Force guy said they always knew it's just a bunch of criminals. It's something. The Massillon police don't know who they are, and they're looking for them. Canton police are looking for them. They don't know who they are. Now, Friday I went down on the 13th, and I went down to have lunch with my friend. I come back, and I pull in the gas station. You know, I'm running about everything because I got my car bugged from the protective light case, and they sold it. Lady pulls in, rolls her window down. Said, this has actually got funny. They were saying the Massillon police were doing it for you, and they don't know who they are. And they're looking for them, and it's not admissible. This has got really funny. I told the Massillon police, the chief of police, the Ravenna cops, the trucks that were then following me down here, they're not allowed down here. They're not allowed out of Ravenna to come down and harass somebody in a different county. They disappeared. These people think it's funny, and I don't think all the undercover police were involved. Because it's hi, sweetie. They told some of the investigators October 2020, FedEx, for we all know this woman's innocent. For we all know. At FedEx. 3 of them. We all know. Okay? Because the worst thing I did wrong, honey, June of 19, Liberty House Share, Ravenna Place, you bent over improperly. Ooh, Grandma, what's on the back of your legs? Varicose veins. Your whole pathology changed, so right behind my knees. That's it. And they caught her changing it. They're sick. Mean games that pretend. January 25th, 2019, Dave was acting crazy. All the police were at the end of the road. 8:30, 10:30 at night, if you pull the case. Please show up while I'm crying in my room. The police always knew she was innocent before. They were talking about it at the station. Another guy was bailing his guy out from a team. Said if she's innocent, I'll pay her final bail. Said no, the police already knew she was innocent before, and they never want to arrest her. And it was somebody else did something wrong before. May 24th, 22, 132 apartment buildings for me. Fat man with his dark hair woman lying to everybody. I'm weird with myself, and they photoshopped a shower scene. Yeah, you framed her before? Yeah, I framed her before. Shame on you. I know I wish I wouldn't have done it. I found out those people even raped her. Amy heard it in her apartment building for me, second one close to the fence. They came out and called him a bastard. Okay? I'm out at Ron's in Canton. The next door neighbor, we all heard that bastard admit to frame me. Down at Mandy's in November. Next door. We all heard that man admit to frame me. The lady before that, a couple weeks before that, no, I didn't know everything was photoshopped. They told Shine in March we could never look or listen to these people's tapes. And they told the hairdresser they knew everything was photoshopped. And these people run around like they get money for stalking me in my home, illegal surveillance, fake paperwork, because there's no such thing as a court or watch somebody. There's no such thing as sodium pentothal reports. They said they had fake paperwork to make it look official. There's no such thing as the police or the FBI being in your home, but those special protective light cases set up correctly, or they lose their badge. And 1 to 10 years per civil right is broke. It's 1 to 10 years. The real law, if attorney tapes you unaware in your home, they lose their license, they go to jail, and they have to compensate you. No coerced confession is admissible, and I gave you the surveillance laws. That's why Officer Reinhardt giggled. That's why the Massillon police giggled. Yeah. None of this is funny, and these people, it's just a bunch of domestic terrorism group lying to people that they're FBI, having fake badges, framing the FBI for the chip at Altman Hospital. And Altman Hospital was stupid enough to let them in. They could go to jail. I worked at a bank. The law is somebody comes in and flashes a badge, you get the manager, and you get the police to verify who they are. People scam people all the time. Now, I had told everybody, I didn't know how to explain from the Canton FBI that said he'd protect me. So I told everybody, I prayed and I left my problems at God's feet and prayed God's will over everything. So they said the case is called Karen's Will from the agency. I thought they were being sweet. I gave my problems to Will, called him a God. It's not, it's the bad guys. They come in more care for Karen's Will, the agency chipped her. Nurse looks right at me and points. Is that why she's here? Those idiots let them in, and they're flashing badges. Lets them in the back. Didn't even verify. They tell Dr. Alan Atinas, some damn bastard neurochipped her. He said we already know. Now, yeah, this whole thing is so stupid. I was found innocent in 18 and 19. I have police departments. I have a state case to back me. Even the FBI building, I was in there seeing if they would redo the case. The agents walking around. We all know she never hurt anybody. The FBI knows. The police know. Some sheriffs were laughing last year. Kurt just found out those kids were lying. He is lying. They knew on Thanksgiving of 18. And then they've run around businesses, bragging they lied, bragging they drugged me and told me to say stuff. And I had bruises in my head swim. And they think they can get money on that. And then they brag that they put a shower scene in the other room. That's why so many people see so many different things. And I guess they got drug confessions before. And one lady didn't even see a drug confession where I had bruises. They were photoshopping things in and out. January of this year, a Circle K gas station on Bolton Road by 6th Street. Came in, I was just in the bathroom. Paul wouldn't let me in because he wasn't awake yet. So I'm on there going to the bathroom. She's like, we made a big mistake being in her home. I can verify my group. She's never said she did anything wrong before. Where they say they have drug confessions where I had orange and grapes, fruit bruises, and hammers embedded in my arm. And I thought, did I squeeze myself? And the fingerprints were bigger than mine. They said they were beating me under amnesia drugs. That's why I couldn't remember to tell Will about the guy telling Hammer the night before. And I couldn't remember to tell him about the attempted kidnapping, attempted carjacking. You find him at Giant Eagle. I can only remember the what a shame gun. Because my head was spinning. That's not my fault. That's Will's. You have an FBI agent saying he's going to protect you. Whose fault is it when you're being victimized on that ungodly level? It's his. Yeah, because if he would have known about a tape before, he would have arrested him. Per Department of Justice. Nobody's allowed in your home no matter what. That's why the cops are laughing about it. An agent would know that. And what's amazing, they have Dave Data rights in the churches. They have that phone call between me and Terry where I didn't hang up, but the church is taking the $25,000 to have me murdered because I got, well, the year Ron's kid died. They have Dave hold me down how I'm going to die for his girlfriend for them to get everything. And then they have even September 5th of 18 of him and Jack had this plan since March, and I wouldn't give up everything willingly. They actually have the keys to the case, like one of the bodyguards. That's the case. People to get even with me for getting Ron, well, the year Ron's kid died, and strange lying to everybody. I wasn't sick, and I was. I had nothing to do with that death. To manipulate people and date me to die for Dave's girlfriend. And they had it planned since March. So, do they get money? I didn't know how far it was over. They can't even look at their shit. That's why Officer Reinhardt Lewis really started laughing. Don't worry about it. I said, they're supposed to put a shower scene in the room. I don't care. He said, I don't care about one. I said, but they're supposed to drug me and told me to say something stupid. I've never talked to anyone. He's like, I don't care about one thing until we'll agree to protect you. It's illegal to be in somebody's home, and it's illegal to look for listen and cost him his badge. It would. And like he said, with your ex dating a judge's daughter from that county, they would have to excuse themselves from everything in life against you because they'd be thrown up for a conflict of interest. Think of that. I want you to honestly think, how stupid are you falling for this shit? They have told you Chris off in the dark, no man talked to her. No, we just used truth serum on her instead. It's a lethal hollow drug. You say yes to anything. They admitted February 2nd, 22, Burlington Coat Factory. Go to the shoes. Go back to the men's clothing aisle. There's a kid that looks like the guy that went to Paymer, but younger, with a girl with black hair and spirals in her hair. I see her out today. It's not funny what's going on. I know. I wish I went and drugged her and told her to say it before I regret it. People run and save a lot. Oh, my goodness. Paul lives on 6th Street. The guy with the African-American man that lives in the brown house across him runs out. Oh my goodness, they admitted to drugging her and telling her to say it before. The postman's like, we all heard it. They told the login by Christmas 18. They have heard all these people admit that they drugged me and told me to say stuff. They heard 8, 9 first thing in the morning, apartment building for him, be second close to the fence. That Dave roofied me, where I was getting sick on his drinks. And then he defends me on tape. That's where it's priceless. And then they talked to the police a few days later. Okay? 1295 Fairlawn in the middle apartment. Little white lady screamed at him right before May 25th. For the church people breaking in, drugging me, and telling me to say weirdo stuff. Okay? Think of that. May 25th, Louisville. Wendy's. 6 o'clock crew was talking about it, and people were calling them bastards. Like Paul, my last client, this is crazy, Karen. I said, who's crazy? He said, these people, they admit to drugging you and telling you to say stuff before, and they've raped you in stores in front of people. It's crazy. I said, I tell the police where to pull the videos. The police actually want me to dial 911 and get them arrested for their participation in this hate crime and domestic terrorism, basically. If you Google domestic terrorism, this is it. They didn't have a court order. There's no sodium pentothal reports. And you guys knew they photoshopped. You knew they photoshopped a shower scene. You knew they drugged me and told me to say something before. And I never talked to anybody with Miranda rights, never prosecuted, never found guilty. You can't break in and just stalk somebody in their home, watch them, Photoshop them in porns. Admit to you, I was like, I got the stupidest criminals around me. Have fake FBI badges, people falling for it. I talked to the FBI. Why would you think you have a chip? It's like, will you pull Will's case? 12/21/18. Whoa! In the neck. Foggy, hazy, dark. Went bright light. Felt myself cry. Wake up with a dent in my head. Hair's missing. It took 2 years to grow back. Skin feels funny. My head's pounding. There's another man's comb on the dresser, and there's a steak knife with bone and flesh. And Dave's accusing me of having an affair, and I'm like, I don't know what happened. And I got marks on me, and I'm so dizzy. I go lay back down, and people are breaking in and stabbing me with needles more. Victimize upon victimize, and our U.S. government recognizes remote neuromonitoring and electronic brain links as a legal strategy for the truth. Our government, they're terrorists against our fucking government, and they're in there blaming the FBI in Altman Hospital, flashing fake badges that the FBI did it. And they didn't even know it happened. They didn't even look at Will's case. He said, Will left me on his desk. Some other guy said he left me on his desk and did a little with the case. Well, these people are going Nazi on me. Nazi! And he had enough on David in 10 days to arrest him. A stupid phone call. Dixie and the baby are next. We'll teach Josh a lesson for letting her down there. He's so angry he could cut his hands off so he couldn't work anymore. And for there's a list and we'll move on to who we want next. Then I called the FBI office in Canton and the secretary yelled out, well, he's got a list. I'm working on it. He had enough with intent to hire assassins to arrest him in 10 days. And he left me up there to die. That's how not funny this is. These people mock a victim. It's a domestic terrorism, and they announced in Tater's office when I was in there with the client, Ron, on May 5th of this year, 22, by noon. Those weirdos with computers come in that had started following me after I was chipped. That's the one we used as an example how to process people. We can start processing more, and then there's a tall white man with black hair and a beard staring at me. I get home, and that idiot that was in Wendy's, Dixie seen him, and Darlene seen him, and Bob Evans in December of 18. White man, hair parted on the side. Late 40s, 165, like 5'9", 5'10". Okay? Same with the kid looked like my son Joshy. Okay? He's outside my apartment. I recognize his voice. What do you mean that they're going to start processing more? We only let him do it to her because nobody cared about her. I was vulnerable and alone. That's what he said in December 18 in Wendy's. You ought to chip her. You can't do that. Why? She didn't do anything wrong. Nobody cares. Her family don't care about her. That's what he yelled out May 5th, 22. Outside my home. What do you mean? They're going to process more. We only let him do it to her because nobody cared about her as vulnerable and alone. And these people make fun of Jack the Rippers. They're planning on grabbing more. Stalking them in their home. Drug confessions. Cutting their skull up. Putting chips in them. It's not the government. And then extorting everything they have in life and have people attack them. It's a terrorism group. Somebody needs to get down here before more die. Hear them outside. It used to be so quiet. You could hear Becky across the street. I was found innocent in 18 and 19. Officers call it killing around the house state case. What's that? One of us have to watch her or listen to her every day. Informant for the FBI. I never had to stay quiet. They even had a man act like he's FBI, and go up the day before I call Will back. So David confront me in the truck. And then drug me up so I can only remember the what a shame guy instead of the attempted kidnapping, attempted carjacking. You find him at Giant Eagle. Yeah, that's not funny because the guy that at Wood Forest, by the end of when I'm doing a night drop at Wood Forest, by the end of December 18, comes up and said he's part of the 25,000 strange hired him. He's seen with the guy that was trying to kidnap me, try to carjack me, and threatened to knife me in Giant Eagle. Okay? If they even pull Huntington's Bank when I open the account, there'll be a picture of him walking around. He shows up in Minerva Grinders with that other guy. How they have a field picked out south of Ravenna to stab me to death. They've laid out their plot. They've told these people what they're going to do to me, and they do it. They mock me for it. Just like you can't beat a single woman by herself. We can't have her state what happened up there, and then you're raped and tortured. And they put it on the internet, and these people think it's funny.
They act like it's a show and it's real life. They could grab their wives. They could be stalking them in their home, putting their families on porns, the kids on kiddie porns in the bathroom, until a predator finds them alone and grabs them. See, they won't know till these people attack. You wake up with a little black and blue mark on your leg, and all of a sudden they got a drug confession. You've never talked to anybody. And then they tell you, they change the scene to a shower scene. They tell everybody and then have people attack you and then act like they're extorting money. It doesn't work that way. You can't even ask for money out of this. They have lost their ever-loving minds. And these people helping out, thinking it's funny killing people, they're planning on processing more. Someone needs to get down there and fix this.